Hello, I'm Mishka, and this channel is the Helsinki Renaissance, where we will be talking about arts and culture in hopefully a fresh and interesting manner. Now, in this video, I'd like to talk about, I guess the experience of having done these videos, because this is the third time that I've started this channel. And the first two ended up in different kinds of failures. With the first version of the channel, I liked the videos that I did. However, no one watched them. They just couldn't get any kind of audience. With the second version of the channel, I was able to get some kind of audiences. However, I didn't really get the kind of audiences that I wanted to get. So that they weren't like-minded people who were interested in the same things that I was interested, which really is the most ideal audience to have. What I got was random people who just randomly decided to take a chance with the videos that I did. And with YouTube analytics, I could basically see that basically none of those viewers watched even half of the videos, so that it was just people randomly clicking on them, watching them for a couple of minutes and then deciding that it wasn't their thing, and then they just decided to go out. So that the second version of the channel, it had videos that I liked less than the first incarnation of the channel, I was able to get slight audiences, but it was not adding up to a meaningful experience for anyone. So I decided to pull down the videos of the second version of the channel as well. And now I'm starting the channel for a third time. And I just thought that I'd talk a bit about the experience of having what I do, how the process of making the video happens. So that I've already done so many videos that I think that I'm sort of becoming at one with my instrument, as it were. So I think I already can reach the goals I set out for myself with these videos. If there was something in the second version of the channel that I felt like some of those videos were failures, I think that I can now avoid those kinds of failures, and I can succeed in the way that I planned on succeeding, so that I can feel as good about the videos of the third version of this channel as I felt about the videos in the first version, and perhaps these can find a bit more of an audience. But I think it's still worth talking about how it is that when I see myself over there, it is a strange thing that to watch yourself having become basically having become something slightly different. Like every person has their own experience of being themselves, but then should they do some sort of a vlog, for instance, then let's say that my own experience should be a bit more like this frame here, but it's as if people get a reduced version that's like this frame there, and I felt like I had such a unique approach with the videos of the first channel that I felt like I was able to have the kind of experience that I'm having here. It's as if I was able to have a full-sized experience, but then with the second channel, it just became the kind of mini experience here. And I wasn't happy with them, and other people evidently weren't happy with them either. So that it's just become a bit of a challenge to return to this kind of a more full experience that I'm having here, and not just to get reduced to some diminished version of what I'm trying to do. And of course, it's possible that some people only see, a small trivial moment like that over there. But obviously, that would be for the audiences who aren't interested in the same things that I'm interested, so that because they aren't really the audience for whom much of these videos would be directed. So that if I'm talking about a subject that isn't of much interest to them, they just get the kind of small experience there, and it's no good for them. But if I just be able to find the kind of audiences who would have the kind of bigger experience that I would also be having, and they can connect with things differently, I think that I'd finally be able to reach the effect that I wanted to have with these videos. But it's certainly taken quite a while, so that I've had to do things over and over and over again, just to return to the kind of larger sense of the experience, which can only happen if you feel a certain immediacy with what you're doing. And I think that I've made that kind of return again, so that when I watch my videos, it's as if I'm watching the bigger experience here, and I'm not just looking at the, that kind of reduced experience there. But there's still the problem of being able to connect with the audience. So, like, there's two problems. One, you aren't guaranteed to get any kind of audience, and then with the audience that comes, you aren't guaranteed to have any kind of connections. So it's one thing that's making doing these a slightly frustrating experience, because I just feel like it's been a struggle so far to get everything be in the right place, so that there's just so far always something that has gone wrong with the past channels, that it's just the kind of reduced experience that's like that thing there. So that if you'd go so far that you'd look in the frame inside the frame inside the frame, so that if you'd look at that thing there, look at the higher finger, that thing there, the more you are disconnected with the audience, the more reduced the experience gets. So that sometimes the audience would just like in that thing there inside the circle, sometimes the audience just gets such, like, the audience is so disconnected from you that they get such a reduced experience that they think that there's nothing worthwhile going on. And obviously, like, this channel is ideally only designed to the kind of people who can get the same kind of full-scale experience that I can get. Well, it has been a struggle so far. you know, well, I'm cautiously optimistic that I've been able to fix things and can now go about doing this in the right way that can get the right results. But anyway, if I were to tie things back to one video that I did in the second version of the channel, there was talking about the problem of which do you feel more comfortable with? Having strangers pass judgment on your personality, or what might be termed your soul, versus having strangers pass judgment on your body. And I realized that I initially gave a false answer to the question, where I said that given the recent development and the direction that these have taken, that that there wouldn't have been any problem with doing either. But then I realized that I sort of mischaracterized the overall situation. So that I think that what I ignored is that, you know, like I had just, I had zero problems with the idea that I would have, you know, my, you know, character be here in these videos, and I'm just displaying a random sample of the opinions and viewpoints that I happen to have. But it's as if, like, what happened with the second channel, where there was like that kind of a more reduced experience, like that frame within the frame there. What happened is that it's as if there was like a distortion that happened, and that I felt really bad about how it is that I felt like what I didn't get a fair chance to win an audience. So that, you know, what I did became that type of a more reduced experience. And it's as if, like, the personality and basically like everything in the video became like an object. So that whether something was body or soul or whatever, it didn't matter, because it all sort of, like the process of doing the video was as if like being objectified, that is made into an object. And I felt like the way in which in the second version of the channel that I was doing, the way in which I failed to have the kind of full-scale experience, I mean, it's just, I mean, it was just really hard to take the idea that there were some audiences who were looking at the kind of more diminished experience, and they were judging me based on that. So that I don't know how you should qualify it, whether it's, you know, a person judging your body or judging your soul or whatever, but, you know, it's just, whatever was happening with the second version, I clearly wasn't quite as easygoing with it as I thought that I was, because, well, basically the videos in the second version of the channel I suppose there were a couple of different ways in which they were failing, and I just, I couldn't quite fix things the way that I wanted them to be. And you see in this frame right now, and that I don't know why there's a difference between when I'm here like this and when I'm here like this. There's some change that happens, but I'm still the same person, but the change to me feels real, and the experience of how this the experience that you are, the way that the experience that you are can change. There's something really strange about witnessing that change that happens when you feel like you are the same and yet you change. I don't know, it's been a strange journey doing this. And I sort of ended up doing the videos on this channel sort of by accident. That I was in the middle of working on a couple of manuscripts that I kept offering to Finnish publishing houses, and because I just had to wait for the reply from those publishing houses, I ended up doing this. And there was just the kind of experience that I got. My manuscripts were declined. That the publishers that I offered them didn't want them, which to me was strange because I certainly thought that the manuscripts that I sent were, to me, it was obvious that they were on a higher level than a lot of the other kinds of manuscripts who have been accepted. When I compare my own abilities to the abilities of, say, other Finnish poets, I just can't help thinking that to me it's obvious that I'm a better poet than any other poet in Finland, and that that there's some fatuous reasons why some poets in Finland, why they've been accepted for publication and why I was rejected. And I just had to start learning to look at my manuscripts the way that, people who, some people were able to have completely different experiences with the manuscripts that I had than what I was able to have. Your manuscript, it remains the same, but it changes with other people, so that there's multiple different kinds of experiences that can be had with the same manuscript. And something like that just led to these videos existing the way that they do now, because the kind of constantly changing, well, I watched a YouTube video yesterday about the astrophysicists and the theories of multiverses. So that the idea that can there be a multitude of universes out there? Just the idea that we'd already have a multitude of different worlds out here. The way that a simple object can have completely different kinds of presences depending on the subject that has a given relation with the object. That the subjects change the object based on the experience that they have with it. It's like something like that just kept me doing this, because I just wanted to understand how it is that some of the people in the publishing houses, how it is that they genuinely could think that said that the manuscripts of poetry that I sent, that they wouldn't be among the best that they have ever received. I'm as confident as ever that my poetry, it is on every conceivable level, it is good enough to be published, and I simply, again, couldn't connect with the kind of like-minded people that I needed to connect with, but just accepting the idea that even though I am just myself, there's different ways in which I can appear as an experience over here, and just learning to coexist with those kinds of changing realities that other people just as if remake you into something else, and that the experience that you have, it can happen on a bigger scale like this, where other people have as significant an experience of you as you have, or it can be more reduced, or yet more reduced if you go through the circles to the way smaller experiences. And just sort of forcing myself to try and look towards the different ways in which your presence can be experienced. It's what has changed with the third version of this channel is that I've begun to in the first version of the channel, I was oblivious. In the second version of the channel, I was saddened by the process of, as it were, fractured realities. And in this third version of the channel, I'm not oblivious, but it's as if I'm indifferent. That, for instance, you recognize that there's different color realities throughout the frame, and there's different ways in which the compositions could be done. There's lots of things that could be done differently, but I just for the lack of a better word, I've just discovered a certain kind of inner peace about the whole process, so that in the second version of the channel, for instance, I was just lost and anxious as I was doing this, and I just didn't really understand how it is that I could have the kind of more significant experiences, where doing this feels like living my life the way that I should live my life, and then living it forward, and that there would be something genuine about the whole thing. Like, I just couldn't there were several ways in which the second version of the channel didn't succeed, and one of the main ways it didn't succeed is that I didn't really live my life forward as the videos were happening. Like the direction was just towards something other than where I should be going, and I just I don't know, like there was some simple thing that I did wrong, and doing it wrong ended up with reducing the experience to that kind of a more meaningless one. And yeah, you know, I basically, when I keep doing new videos like this, I try not to think about anything. I don't try to have uh, I don't try to have much of an opinion about the video. It's just that like there's an experience that I personally have about something, and I just want to accurately display that experience, so that when I'm displaying the experience, that if the experience is, you know, more or less the kind of size that can fit the frame, uh, that it's as if like this is a natural way of having the experience, and then um, I don't really feel like I'm doing this for myself any longer, so that because uh, because I'm just not trying to do something, I'm not reducing the experience like that. Uh, in that, I don't know, it's difficult talking about how it is that things have improved over here. But, well, uh, I don't know. I feel a lot better about these videos of the third version of this channel, and yeah, I mean, uh, as long as the overall feeling that I can get is that I did what I set out to do, to me that will be enough. So I don't entirely know what kind of goals I should have towards as far as the audiences for these videos are concerned, because you know, the first and the second version of this channel, they failed. They failed when it came to being able to reach an audience and to have the audience have significant experiences. I don't know what I should hope from the third version of the channel, but at least now I feel like I've returned to doing the kinds of things that I should do with this, so that you know, in this strange field that I find myself in, you know, for the lack of a better word, I'm once again, you know, feeling rather good about the overall journey, and that you know, doing things in the past versions of the channel, you know, like what I felt towards the videos, what I felt whilst watching myself in the videos, something just felt at times something just felt not quite right, and now I think much more than previously, I feel like these are happening as they should. So anyway, to me that um, counts as quite a lot. Now, you know, I remember like lots of actors keep talking about how it is that they feel about watching themselves act. Like there are some actors like Johnny Depp who they refuse to watch their own movies because they just think I don't know whether they think that they get the kind of reduced experience or something, but it's as if that the experience of watching themselves act, uh, that like very often that there's something not quite right about it, and I think that every actor at least would realize just how significant it is that you actually feel like the experience that you have whilst watching the video, you're essentially watching yourself in the past. Like the idea that the experience of watching yourself will not become a reduced experience. It is a very significant thing to be able to say, but it's also an extremely strange thing to talk about. But anyway, I tried to make this video about something like that. But anyway, those were my thoughts about it. If you have other thoughts, you can leave them in the comments. But anyway, I tried to find my way to saying what I wanted to say. I don't know whether when I'll watch this video again, I don't know whether it seems like I did what I meant to do, but I feel like I'm on the right path once more. And that's why, doing these videos, it doesn't bring me down the way that the second version of the channel sort of started doing. So anyway, those were my thoughts. Those were all the thoughts for now. Anyway, thank you for watching, and bye for now.